One thing I've struggled with in my life has been judgment from others. Always worrying about what others think of me. I think many people can relate to this idea of fearing the judgment of others. I've found that it has had some positive effects on me, and then in other ways it has had negative effects on me. The positive, I'd say that my fear of being judged, that has contributed to the fact that I've always had a very good work ethic, especially at a job, right? In my mind, I'm always thinking that I am not going to be that guy that is a letdown. I'm not going to be that guy that people view as lazy and useless. I didn't want that tag for myself. And that contributed to the fact that my work ethic has always been the best trait that I bring to the table. I haven't always been the most skilled person, the most talented, but I always tried my very best, and I always had my brain working on overdrive to try to find efficient solutions so that I can be more efficient. So that is probably the only thing that I can think of that my fear of being judged has actually turned into a positive thing. However, in the back of my mind, I also know that that whole idea of having a good work ethic and all of that, it can be a slippery slope, because you are always going to try to one-up yourself. In a sense, you may get to a point where you aren't satisfied. Even though you are absolutely running laps around other people, it won't matter to you, because you are always trying to improve. So that's in the back of my mind to try to keep myself in check in that regard, because I also don't want to be that guy who is never satisfied, because that that quickly turns into pessimism, really. I want to be that guy that sets the standard and sets a positive example for others to then follow, I suppose. Maybe deep down in me, I've always wanted to be a leader of some sort. I don't want to be a boss. I don't want to be a manager. I want to be a leader. Someone that people can relate to, but someone that doesn't get caught up in the illusion of this whole hierarchy, titles and labels. It isn't the way to go, in my opinion. Now, if I think about some of the negative effects my deep sense of judgment from others has had on my life, I'd say that it probably hindered my ability to take risks earlier on in my life. It probably led to me being scared to leave my comfort zone. Judgment from others also meant that I was extremely self-conscious about a really bad speech impediment that I had my whole childhood and early adulthood. Up until recently, it's only recently that I've started to really get a hold of it, and I attribute that with the practice of semen retention. So my judgment from others, it would quickly turn into low self-esteem, right? Because if you are coming from a place of, I need his approval, I need her approval, you are starting off your perception, that is, you think that you are down here, and you think that they are up here, and you are trying to appease to them. And that isn't a good environment for you to become your truest person and improve who you are, because deep down you think that you aren't good enough for some reason. I think we all kind of have this fear of judgment in the back of our mind and our heart. Isn't that what peer pressure is all about? Not wanting to be the odd one out, the one that is cast away out of the tribe. It takes a real man to get past all of that stuff. To be prepared to be open and honest and vulnerable, even if it means that certain people close to you are going to judge you for doing that. They will judge you because perhaps they don't have the balls or courage to do that for themselves. And this very fear is what keeps us in the matrix, so to speak. Never want to step on anyone's toes. Never want to say too much. You never want to be your actual true personality, because you know that, because you're scared of how others will view, react, and treat you, like you're weird, or like you're, some will even say that you are becoming mentally ill. I reckon that one stings quite hard. It does. However, it's usually the case that when everyone is stuck in an illusion of some sort, if everyone is believing a lie, the one person who is able to see through the illusion, and the one person that says, hey guys, look, it's a lie. I can prove it to you. That person will be looked at as he needs to go to a mental asylum, because he is saying something that completely contradicts what I have been programmed and brainwashed with. And it isn't easy for people to do that. This is something that I've been having a bit of trouble with of recent times. Since I started making videos, it obviously meant that I'd be out in the open. I'd be right there for all to see. There is no more hiding. I feel like I have been hiding for too long. And I'm grateful that I have met some people who have given me the courage to actually just go out with it and to overcome this deep hurdle that I have been holding on to my whole life, which is fear of other people's judgment. I'd like to thank everyone, all of the people in the Sons of God community. It's a Discord server. Guys all around the world are coming together to become the best version of themselves with nothing is off limits. Because the reason why nothing is off limits is because if you start setting limitations as to what you can share with other people, you are never going to overcome and confront that very thing that you are too scared to open up about. Because you are basically stuffing it down into your subconscious, perhaps, and you are not allowing it to free itself and find an outlet in order to overcome. I feel like right now I am at a crossroads when it comes to, well, actually, I feel like I was at a crossroads at the moment that I started making videos and going public. That was the fork in the road for me. And I took that path, going public and basically confronting my deeply held fear of being judged by others. And I can't help but think that at the present time, I am now experiencing the consequences of that, both positive and negative. There have been both. I'd say it's been mostly positive, which is good. But yeah, I'm grateful that I have overcome that hurdle. I know it's a hurdle that many people have in their life. And it is the very thing that holds them back from achieving their fullest potential. Because in order for you to achieve your fullest potential, your perception and your opinion of yourself, a truly confident person, that is all that matters. It doesn't matter what he or she reckons, because you know that you are being true to who you are. And if you were not to be open and honest, if you are not being true to who you are, you would consider yourself fake, a phony, a coward, too scared to actually be yourself, and more worried about what others think of you. However, they are not living your life. They are living their own life. So at the end of the day, what they think, you've just got to allow it to come in one ear and come out the other. Just let it go through to the keeper, as they say in Australia. It's a cricket terminology thing. Let it go through to the keeper. Easy come, easy go. I hope that you enjoyed the video. Take care.